Hello everyone, I'm Don Arleth and you're right on time for Flash News, so let's get started. It was a great day for Polish athletes at the Olympic Games in Tokyo. Today, Poles won as many as 4 medals, 1 gold, 1 silver, and 2 bronze. Anita Włodarczyk was the star of the day as she took home her 3rd consecutive gold medal in the hammer throw.
Polish athletes are indeed very good in the hammer throw. Exactly 78 meters, 48 centimeters, a throw for a medal, gold. Anita Włodarczyk thus became the first athlete in history to become Olympic champion in the same event at 3 consecutive games. To win a gold medal for the 3rd time is something amazing. Not everyone is given the opportunity to do it. I proved that I'm the queen of the world hammer. Today the queen was joined by Malwina Kopron. This is her first Olympic medal. This is something I have worked for my whole life. My whole athletic career has been subordinated to shooting into shape for the Olympics. Our female kayakers also have a great form for the Olympic Games. Karolina Naya and Anna Puławska were in 2nd place from the beginning of the finals in the K2 500-meter rowing competition. In the end, they repelled the rivals' attack, had a great finish and can enjoy silver. I don't believe it yet. It was definitely a very good race in our case. We are 2nd at the finish line. Wow! Thank you, Karolina. Oh Jesus, she's still crying. What am I going to do with her? In turn, wrestler Tadeusz Michalik, who underwent 2 heart operations, defeated today the Hungarian Alexander Szoke in the fight for the bronze and became a medalist of the Olympic Games. Consistently, I scored consistently, and I don't know how many cards I counted because I thought it was 7-0 and then it turned out 9. Some fouls, I didn't know what was going on at all. Tadeusz followed in the footsteps of his sister Monika, who won Olympic bronze in wrestling 5 years ago in Rio. When Tadziu attacked on the ground, he had this hand. I knew that he had to stop now because it is very dangerous when a player takes this hand. And he finished. It was the only situation he could use for his benefit. 4 medals during one day gave us a big advance in the medal ranking. At the forefront with 69 medals, 32 of which are golden, the Chinese. The Polish team is ranked 22nd. Unfortunately, our volleyball players will not improve our achievements. The Polish team lost against France 2-3 and they were eliminated in the quarterfinals of the Olympic Games for the 5th time in a row.
Belarusian Olympic sprinter Krystyna Chimanowskaya, who fears persecution from the Lukashenko regime, is to arrive in Warsaw tomorrow. Poland issued her a humanitarian visa after authorities in Minsk withdrew her from the Tokyo Olympics and then tried to force her to return to the country. Lukashenko's regime is capable of anything, as evidenced by the fate of Vitaly Shishov. The corpse of the Belarusian activist was found today in a park in Kiev.
It was a murder. Aleś Zarembiuk, president of the Belarusian House Foundation in Warsaw, has no doubts. Vitaly Shishov, a Belarusian activist in Ukraine, did not commit suicide. It was a murder by KGB representatives as a revenge for Mr. Shishov's activity in Ukraine as one of the leaders of the Belarusian diaspora in Ukraine. Vitaly Shishov's body was found in one of Kiev's parks. Ukrainian police suspect murder. One of the versions under consideration assumes staged suicide. Given the circumstances, it is clear that these are the actions of the Belarusian secret services, and this is a murder. Vitaly was found hanged and beaten. Experts emphasize this is a warning to all those abroad who help Belarusians fleeing the persecution of Lukashenko. It is a strong and clear signal sent from the side of the Belarusian authorities to the minority, to all those who had to flee from Belarus for security reasons, that they are basically not safe anywhere. They are not safe even when they represent their country at the Olympics. The sprinter Krystyna Chimanowskaya, after criticizing the authorities of the Belarusian Olympic Committee, whose head is Lukashenko's son, was first banned from participating and then was taken to the airport, from where she was forced to return to Belarus. They made it clear to me that I would be punished when I returned home, that I would be kicked out of the national team, and that this would not be the end of the activities. At the airport, she managed to escape to the police station. Then she took refuge at the Polish embassy in Tokyo and asked for asylum. She immediately obtained a Polish humanitarian visa. The Prime Minister spoke to the sprinter today. I assured her that she could count on support and solidarity from Poland. Chimanowskaya is scheduled to land in Warsaw tomorrow. Information about Poland's immediate aid to a Belarusian athlete was circulated in the media all over the world. All agencies and the most important newspapers write about it. We are the last island of freedom to the east because Belarus is behind us and Russia is behind us. If Poland is not strong, there will be no one to bring freedom to those nations that are threatened today. Since the outbreak of the protests brutally pacified by the Belarusian authorities, Poland has issued over 120,000 visas to Belarusians, mostly for political reasons.
The United States supports further research into the origins of the coronavirus, as proposed by the WHO. The theory that the virus originated and escaped from a laboratory in the Chinese city of Wuhan was published in a report released by U.S. Republicans on Monday. Meanwhile, the entire world is still struggling with the pandemic.
Another investigation into the origin of the coronavirus has been announced by the WHO, and its representatives are more boldly considering the theory of a laboratory leak as the genesis of the COVID-19 pandemic. U.S. congressmen from the Republican Party who published the report are of a similar opinion. A preponderance of evidence proves the virus that caused the COVID-19 pandemic leaked from a Chinese research facility. The coronavirus continues to mutate and is still very dangerous, both in Wuhan itself as well as in the United States and Europe. The Delta variant is responsible for further increases in infections, which may again paralyze the world and the economy. Ladies and gentlemen, everything is in our hands. Responsibility for yourself, responsibility for the common good, for the state, for jobs, for us to avoid another lockdown, and above all, to reduce the number of unnecessary deaths. A global increase in infections and subsequent mutations may be stopped by vaccinations. In many places around the world, vaccines are not available. In Poland, you can get vaccinated without any problems. Registration is not required to register all patients on site, and there's also a printed certificate confirming the administration of the vaccine. The number of people vaccinated in Poland, though slower, is systematically growing. We also had doubts as to whether the residents will want to take advantage of it, and I am happy about the turnout and these people I see waiting to receive this vaccine, a single-dose vaccine. More and more people use such mobile vaccination points. It's okay, a very, very good idea. The vaccines are also administered without any problems in Zamość, although yesterday someone set fire to the local vaccination point and the sanitary and epidemiological station. The police are looking for the perpetrator. We have set up a mobile vaccination point. It is a public transport bus properly equipped, so today it is possible to vaccinate safely on this bus. The Minister of Health described this arson as an act of terror. He awarded a prize of 10,000 Polish zlotys for helping to catch the perpetrator.
The EU intends to support the Turkish fire service, who have been fighting forest fires on the southeastern coast of Turkey for the last 7 days. The operation will be supported by helicopters, which will ferry and disperse water over the fires. Hundreds of people were injured as a result of the blazes. 47 are still in hospitals, and 8 people have died.
According to the Turkish Minister of Agriculture and Forestry, 132 fires broke out in 36 provinces in the country. The fire department is still struggling to control the elements in Antalya and Mulia on the Mediterranean Sea and Tunceli in the eastern part of the country. Extreme heat and fires also in Greece. For over a week, temperatures have risen to over 40 degrees Celsius. At night, the fire brigade was battling fire on the island of Rhodes, where forest and bushfires were reported near the town of Marica. Due to the rapidly spreading fire, the local population had to be evacuated, but the tourist facilities were not in danger. Smaller fires have been reported on the Peloponnese Peninsula and at the Turkish-Greek border on the Evros River. So far, no information about fatalities or injuries has emerged. The fire also hit the Italian Abruzzo. The authorities are already talking about great losses.
3 people died in a powerful storm packing winds of 100 kilometers per hour in western Russia. The wind damaged more than 60 houses, downing trees and power lines. Cleanup operations are underway.
The hurricane destroyed windows and roofs of over 60 buildings. The monsoon was breaking trees and breaking power lines. About 1,500 apartments still do not have electricity. 11 people were injured. The wind reached speeds of 25 meters per second, resulting in a whirlwind. 250 rescuers still remove fallen trees, collapsed structures and unblock roads. The authorities launched a temporary shelter for residents. The Lithuanian border guard began to send back illegal migrants detained at the border to Belarus. The services may also direct foreigners to border control posts or diplomatic posts. This was allowed by the Ministry of the Interior. This year, the Belarusian-Lithuanian border was crossed by over 4,000 illegal migrants. Yesterday, riots broke out in the camp in the Rudnitska forest. Migrants demanded freedom and improved living conditions. The House of Representatives backed a bill prohibiting President Biden from lifting sanctions against Nord Stream 2. 217 congressmen voted for the document, 212 were against. Congressmen hope that this will allow the president's administration to recognize the importance of the problem and make European energy security a priority. Meanwhile, the construction of the disputed Nord Stream 2 gas pipeline is nearing completion. It is 99% complete. The Russians argued that the construction will be completed in August this year.
120 years ago, Stefan Wyszynski was born. Later, a cardinal called the primate of the millennium, was one of the most outstanding Poles of the 20th century. 2021 is the year of Cardinal Stefan Wyszynski, who will be officially proclaimed as blessed in 39 days.
Zuzela, a small town on the border of Mazovia and Podlasie, the birthplace of Stefan Wyszynski. Here in Zozele, it all began when it comes to Primate Cardinal Stefan Wyszyński. He spent 9 years of his childhood here. In the parish church, there is still a baptismal font in which the later statesman was baptized, and parish books with an entry about the birth of the boy in Cyrillic alphabet have also been preserved. He is born at a time when there is no free Poland yet. He grows up in the Second Polish Republic and gains education there. He experiences the times of World War II in a very dramatic way. On the eve of the 120th anniversary of the birth of the primate of the millennium, a solemn mass was celebrated in his native parish. This is also the anniversary of his ordination, because on the 3rd of August he was consecrated in the cathedral in Włocławek, not with his colleagues, but separately by Bishop of Czarek, because there were problems with his health, and also problems with his age, as he was under 23 years old. It was Cardinal Wyszyński who significantly contributed to the election of John Paul II as Pope, for which the Pope thanked him later. This Polish Pope would not be in the Vatican if it were not for your faith, which will not stop before prison and suffering. Poles will be able to express their gratitude to the primate of the millennium by participating in his beatification on the 12th of September in the Temple of the Providence. For 33 years of his primacy, he was the most important person in Poland. The government of party secretaries passed, and he continued as the leader of the nation, as the father of the motherland. A featured film entitled Wyszyński, Revenge or Forgiveness will be released in September.
Now we go to the Great Festival of Theatre in Poland. The Festival of Polish Radio Theatre and Polish Television Theatre, or simply the two theatres, will be held in Zamość. In the second half of September, the city, called the Pearl of the Renaissance, will turn into one great stage.
Zamość, a town called the Pearl of Renaissance. It was designed by an Italian architect who, according to Jan Zamoyski's will, wanted to create here an ideal city, beautiful and safe. Zamość also has rich theatrical traditions. Therefore, it is not a coincidence that a great festival of theatre will be held here. Zamość is a symbolic city. It reminds us of times when Poland was a political and military power, but we must also remember that together with this power, there was also a cultural power. The theatres is a summary of the achievements of two great stages, the Polish Television Theatre and the Polish Radio Theatre. This excellent festival is a great work of high culture, a meeting place for creators, artists, directors, actors, and most of all the audience. It is a place of lively discussion, setting the directions for the development of Polish theatre. The festival will begin on September 17th and last for 4 days. To us, it is most favorable. Come and we welcome you to Zamość. It makes me very happy. Once Jan Machulski said that the city of Zamość is perfectly prepared for a TV show, a theatre show, because it is a ready-made stage set. It is already known that the festival's grand prize will go to actors Ewa Wiśniewska and Jerzy Zelnik.
A historic chateau is not only for aristocrats and millionaires. Nowadays, almost anyone can become the owner of a historic chateau on the Loire, or rather co-owner. This is the idea behind an online platform offering chateaus for sale as a partnership in crowd sharing.
This is a romantic and fairy tale castle of La Motte-Chandonnière. The 13th century residence was a ruin until it found new owners 3 years ago. 20,000 people from 115 countries have donated money for the repurchase and renovation of the facility. Each person invested several dozen euros, and a total of over 1.5 million was collected. Other buildings met a similar fate. Their new owners are taking part in restoring the old walls to splendor and at the same time contributing to the preservation of French heritage. Peace and quiet, these are just appearances. The cosmos is a hostile environment where ships are exposed to collisions with space debris or meteoroids. That is why the European Space Agency is asking scientists to create new materials that can withstand the extreme conditions prevailing there. One of the suggestions is a polymer that repairs itself. The samples were sent to the space station. In 2 years, they will return to Earth, where they will undergo a review. This robot also has unearthly skills. At least that's what its employers claim, who are owners of one of the restaurants in Riga. The machine is to revolutionize fast food cuisine. Already now it can prepare a pasta dish in a few minutes. The robot can replace several people in the kitchen, but the creators assure that it is not about reducing jobs, but making them easier. Half a meter of happiness. Staff at the Paris Oceanarium are rejoicing at the birth of a new representative of the black-tipped shark species. This is the first such event in this place for years. For now, the baby is isolated for fear of falling prey to adult sharks. The shark will be introduced to the general public in a few months.
And with that baby shark, we conclude the program. Thanks for watching, everybody, and good night.